Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Manchester United 3, Crystal Palace 0. Surprisingly routine win for Manchester United, I have to say. And at no point did they look threatened by Crystal Palace. There were a couple of good chances that Palace created, but nothing sustained, nothing pressurized in that way. And that's surprising because most teams that play Manchester United, you don't get these kind of wins. At least not this season. I've never seen them win this kind of game. So I was definitely very, very surprised. But that's a good thing. As a Manchester United fan, that's a good thing to have games like these where you're not too stressed, you're not too concerned. You just get the first goal, the second goal, then you cruise through, get a third goal, kill the game off, move on. It was good. And I think from that perspective, Crystal Palace will be disappointed because you're coming into this game against a team that is not in the best of moments. Yes, Manchester United would beat Burnley, but they never looked convincing in that win. I thought Burnley put up more of a fight in that game than Crystal Palace did. And yes, Crystal Palace rotated their squad. They rested quite a few key players, and they don't have as deep of a squad as many of the big teams. But you still expect them to threaten more, to create more chances. I mean, there's still a lot that they could have done. Schlupp, for me, for example, looked very, very average. Didn't look that good. Jordan Ayew. I mean, I'm convinced Jordan Ayew's only purpose in that side is to earn fouls and get a player sent off. Because the amount of times that he always went down and started looking at the referee like, give a yellow card, please. It was like, you could see every time he fell down, he would just start, whining and that face that he makes of like where he's kind of moaning or crying for the referee to give a yellow card. That literally looked like that was his job description, was to just try and get fouls and get Hannibal sent off at some point. Speaking of which, I was surprised that Hannibal didn't get sent off. I don't know how he didn't get sent off and completed 70 minutes in that game. We'll talk about that in a second. He didn't look good either. I think Mateta was a little bit underwhelming as well. Didn't had that one shot that he probably might have done better with, but otherwise didn't create much. The player that stood out for Crystal Palace was Eze. I mean, he was fantastic when he came on, linked with Manchester City and Chelsea in the summer, then signed a new contract. I'm sure he will not last longer than a season. He might go in January, but definitely should be going in the summer. He looked class. He looked like a real class player on that left-hand side. I would say Manchester United should get him, but I just with Rashford, kind of holding that left wing hostage, and then you still got Garnacho. I don't see him necessarily being needed at Manchester United, but he's a fantastic player. Whoever signs him, whenever he goes, they will get a wonderful player, and he looked good. He looked very, very good. But talking about Manchester United, I think Palace will be disappointed with the goals that they conceded, particularly for all three. They will be very, very disappointed with the goals that they conceded. The first goal, it's just very good play around the box. The crossfield pass from Amrabat was good. It comes out to Dalot. He interchanges with Pellistri, and the cross that comes in, and nobody defends the cross. I don't know what's going on there. And the shot that Garnacho puts in, it's not a very good shot from Garnacho, let's be honest. What really has going for it is he manages to generate a lot of power in that shot, and that's why even though the defender kind of hits the defender, but it still goes through and goes into the back of the net. It's very straight. And so therefore you're questioning, where the defenders were and why it's not been cleared out, because those kind of shots you expect defenders. It's not like in the corner, right? If it was in the corner, it's a different matter. It's a very straight shot, and you expect the defenders to do better, but which shows that you're stretching for it, and the defense could have done better for that one. But still, it's still a good finish from Garnacho, I have to say, because not a good finish, but I'd say it's good enterprise from Garnacho, because he runs past the defender. But it'd be very easy for him to just let the defender get ahead of him, but he doesn't. He runs at it, and he does very well to get a shot off, and the power that he generates in that shot to make sure that even when it hits the defender, it still goes in. That is something special, and that's good. That's good. That's the good part about that finish. And it's 1-0 to Manchester United, which becomes 2-0. I don't know what's happened there to my throat, but it becomes 2-0. Mason Mount with the corner finally gets an assist to his name. So hopefully those 007 memes will end now. But he gets a nice corner. The header from Casemiro is really good. Again, it's poor marking on the corner from Crystal Palace. Anytime Manchester United look a threat on corners, that's the opposition defense has got to start questioning themselves and be embarrassed, because Manchester United never look at threat on corners, or at least they don't look at threat on corners most games. So whenever they do manage to look at threat on corners, and today they did look at threat on corners, I think you've got to ask questions about the Crystal Palace defense, because they shouldn't. A team like Manchester United shouldn't be a threat on corners, but they were. And it's a good header from Casemiro. It's fourth goal of the season, top scorer now for Manchester United. Makes it 2-0. And normally at this point, you sometimes start to think, well, will United let the opposition back in the game? Will they start getting a bit complacent, a bit, a bit overconfident? But they didn't. They were very professional throughout. And in the second half, they got that third goal. Third goal was the best finish of the lot. I thought that's a fantastic finish of Martial. The cross from Casemiro is brilliant. Again, it's a wonderful pass in. But the finish from Martial is just sensational. So well done. It's on his left foot as well, which wasn't pointed out by the commentators. It's on his left foot, his weaker foot. And to go cross the goalkeeper, the kind of shot that you get in FIFA where the goalkeeper doesn't save it, it just goes in. But for him to do that is just beautiful. Wonderful finish from Martial. Good for him, for his confidence. I do feel Martial is the thing about Martial is that he's lost a bit of pace. I mean, let's be honest, he's lost a bit of pace, but his hold-up play is pretty good. Today, I don't think he had a great game, but he got his goal, and that's what Martial really is now. He's someone he's a moments player. At this point, he's a moments player, and if you get him in the right moments, he will get output and he will get you results. The issue is that he's not fit enough. Most games he doesn't even play. And when he does play, you don't always get these kind of moments from him. They're very fleeting. So that's the issue right now. And therefore, I think backup is the role for him. He can't be a starting player for Manchester United at this point in time. But if he keeps up the level of performances where he can continue to score goals consistently, maybe he can push Højlund. Because Højlund, for me, I think, he's a work in progress. He's 20 years old. He's not going to be someone who's going to score 20, 30 goals this season. I think he might get double figures, maybe 10, 15 goals. I think that's what he will get this season in all competitions. So, the place is there still for Martial to try and get it. But at this moment in time, I'm not convinced that he can do it consistently, what he did today. And that is the big question mark over him. Can he even stay fit to get that many games to push Højlund? But that being said, some good performances today. I thought Amrabat looked fantastic on debut. He played like a left back, but he wasn't a left back. I think then somebody put in the comments in a different forum, where they were saying that I've never seen a left back have a free role before. And that's true. He had a free role left back position in the first half. He started left back, but he turned up on the right wing, right back. He would play central midfield, attacking midfield, left wing. He would go everywhere. I think that was the idea, because I think what Ten Hag figured is that Casemiro needs support on that left, in that midfield. He needs somebody who's going to mop up behind him. And so he thought, we can't ask Mount to do it. Hannibal is too young to be able to do this. So let's have Amrabat start as a left back and let him play left back. But when, because he's got the energy and the engine, let him just, go over and track certain players and try and win the ball back and, get the job done there. So I thought that was interesting tactics. We might see it in some games. I don't think you can do that against a Manchester City or a Liverpool or an Arsenal or, Bayern Munich, those kind of teams. I don't think you can do that in those games. But I wonder if he would try that in some of the home games, against smaller teams who park the bus. You might try that kind of system where he plays as a roaming left back. It gives you an extra body in midfield because he is a midfielder by trade. His crossfield passes are excellent, and from the left-hand side, he will have more space to pull those passes out because oftentimes wingers don't often track back or don't often mark their opposing fullbacks. So he might try that, and I think it might work against some of the the mid-table teams that are a little bit harder to break down. Like you've got your Wolves, your Evertons. I know they're not exactly that hard to break down these days, but yeah, against more those kind of teams, right? The Wolves, the Evertons, the Brentfords. Those kind of teams, it might be worth a try at home, not away from home, but at home, that might work. But it was a good game for him, and it was a good introduction to him, and I hope he starts the next one as well because he looked good. Mason Mount had got the assist. I think he had a couple of good moments as well. Not the kind where it makes me go, right, this guy still has, this guy is a 60 million pound player. No, but he had a decent game, and let's just put that, we had a decent game. But keep in mind the level of the opposition. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Is the level of the opposition was not very, very high. Pellistri was okay in moments. The Maguire strangely had a decent game as well. Again, probably the level of the opposition, but he had a decent game, made a good block, which on his bad day that could have ended up as an own goal, but here he got, it went the other side. I kid, but he did well. He did well as well. And I mean, the player, I think the most disappointing player was probably Hannibal for me, because at the end of the day, look, this is Crystal Palace's beat. Right, and Hannibal is not a regular starter for Manchester United, but this was an opportunity for him to stamp his authority on a game. And what I saw in preseason and what I liked about him a lot was the fact that he would take the ball, he would run with it. Right, he could carry the ball past players, like much like Meno, he could carry the ball past players, and he was doing that consistently, carrying the ball past the player, He could do that. For some reason he didn't do it against Burnley. And here as well, he didn't do it. And I don't know what it was, whether it was lack of confidence, whether there was some kind of directive that was given to him not to do it, but he just wasn't doing it. And at times he chose to safe a pass rather than looking for an enterprising forward pass, which was also very, very strange. Then I didn't say much to him. He smiled at him. So maybe there was a tactical instruction not to lose the ball and get caught out in transition, maybe. But the fact is that the things that made me be interested in watching him, especially after seeing him in preseason, was the fact that he was somebody who could carry the ball forward and somebody who could actually run with the ball. And he didn't do that today. He's not going to get a lot of opportunities once players start coming back, from injuries. I mean, he's not going to get a lot of chances. So he's got to make the most of the opportunities and try and stand out in any way that he can, positively, of course. But I don't think he did that today, and I don't know, I don't think he's going to start the next game, and I don't know when he's going to start another game. Will he make an appearance on the bench at some point? I hope so. But it was a missed opportunity. I think if he's being honest with himself, he'll look at it as a missed opportunity. I was impressed with Dan Gore. I thought he looked good, at least for the first 10-15 minutes. After that, and what was interesting was that he was oftentimes playing as a deepest midfielder. He was the one collecting the ball at the back four, which is very, very interesting and shows the amount of faith that Ten Hag has in him. I was impressed watching him in preseason as well. I think he's a good player. I think him and Menu, again, I really hate saying this about youth players because they often disappoint me in the end. But I think him and Menu could be a midfield of the future if they can keep the progress of their development up. I think that could be a midfield of the future. It may not happen. Most likely 95% likely it won't happen because that's what happens with youth players. But it could, and I'm interested. I would like to see more of Dan Go. I think after this game, I want to see more of Dan Go than I want to see of Hannibal, and I think that says a lot about Hannibal's performance today because he wasn't that good. And also, as I said, I don't know how he stayed on the pitch. On a yellow card for 70 minutes, he did 4 or 5 fouls in that second half, which he could have easily been sent off for. In fact, he could have been sent off. Referee played advantage and allowed play to go on, and then Clyne took a shot that didn't go anywhere. But actually, if he had stopped play, he would have had to give Hannibal a yellow card. So he was actually saved by Crystal Palace having the ball and attacking, because otherwise he would have been off. And so that's something. And I've got to say that this is the last thing that I will say about this is the fact that I'm surprised that neither Varane wasn't actually on the pitch, but Maguire is there, Casemiro is there, even Lindelof is a senior figure. We've got 3 senior figures in that team, and not one of them decided to talk to Hannibal and say, dude, cut out the fouls. Stop fouling so much because you're going to get sent off. You're on a yellow card. Don't foul. It's like nobody was talking. And even Ten Hag should have probably had a word with him at halftime or definitely taken him off at 55, 60 minutes. He kept him all to the 70th minute and he kind of got away with it here. But honestly, he could have been taken off. He could have been sent off before that. But Ten Hag's got to be also proactive here. Then, and this may not, it didn't impact him in this match, but in another match, somebody else might be on a yellow card and they might not be so lucky as to get away with so many fouls. And one of them, all you need is one bad foul. Or one mistimed tackle, and when you're on yellow, that's all you need. One mistimed tackle, one bad foul, one breakaway where you've got to make a last-ditch tackle, and then you get sent off, and then you're in trouble as a team. So I was surprised that I kept him on as long as he did because he should have probably been taken off at the 55th minute. He kept him on for 15 minutes, and for 15 minutes he I think made 1 or 2 more fouls plus that advantage that was there. And yet nobody thought of It was only after that advantage foul that I think Ten Hag finally took him off. Whether that was planned or whether that was forcing his hand, I don't know, but somebody's got to have a word with him and say, look, buddy, you're on a yellow card. You can't be making fouls like these because at some point you're going to get sent off and you're going to put us in trouble. And I didn't see that. And again, there's lack of leadership in that side, which is a massive, massive problem for this team at this moment in time. That being said, we also got a Donny sighting. What about that? Donny van de Beek being sighted. It's like seeing the Lynx out in the wild, isn't it? You don't see that often, but that was good as well. Donny van de Beek got some minutes. Man of the match, Casemiro for me. Some people might say Amrabat, and I would agree with that as well. That Amrabat was fantastic in this game. Garnacho played well as well, but I think Casemiro goal and assist, I think he deserves that. He also played the full 90, which Amrabat didn't, and that puts a little bit more in favor of Casemiro. So for me, he's a man of the match, but you may feel free to disagree and share in the comments if it's somebody else. Maybe you thought it was Dalot or maybe it was Varane or someone. Mention that in the comments. Of course, always love to hear your thoughts. Smash like on this video. Smash like on Manchester United winning this game, which doesn't happen often. Winning so comfortably doesn't happen often. So smash a like for that. It's the first time United have won this season by more than a 1-goal margin. So that is something as well. It's taken us 8 games to get here. So that is fantastic as well. So yeah, smash a like for that. And remember to share your comments on the game. Maybe you got something that I missed that you want to talk about. Share that, of course. Maybe you agree with me, disagree with me about something. Always love to hear from you guys. Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We've got a few more videos coming up. There's been lots of matches. We've got a few more reaction videos coming up. So stay tuned for that. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.